Welcome. Well, you are at home with Jim and Joy, and you are an important part of our EWTN family. And we are delighted that you have tuned in and welcomed us into your home. We certainly would love to hear from you. So today it's Monday. We're live. We're taking your questions and your comments. Please give us a jingle at 1-800-221-9460. If you are calling and you are outside North America, you can reach us at 205-271-2980. And you can always send us an email with a question or a comment to jimandjoy@ewtn.com, and check us out on Facebook. Well, the question for today's show, what are some of the next steps for the pro-life movement in promoting and defending life? And in case you haven't heard, on June 24th, on the Feast of the Most Sacred Heart, the Supreme Court released its ruling and overturned a 49-year-old law where we can kill babies in all states up to 9 months. Now, certain states have different laws. Certain states have trigger laws. And so it was a historical, monumental day for the pro-life community, for mothers and fathers and for the babies, and for defending life, and for those who've stood in the trenches for 49 long years and even before. It was a great victory.
So we want to hear from you. We want you to call into the show, whether you follow that particular question or not. What are the next steps in the pro-life movement? Or just simply you wanted to speak about the overturning of Roe versus Wade. What does that mean? What does that mean for me? What does that mean for the state? What does that mean for pregnancy resource centers? What does it mean for the church? Whatever you want to ask about that. So give us a phone call and be involved in sharing. So Roe versus Wade has been overturned, Joy, as you said. It's Roe versus Wade and Doe versus Bolton.
Yes.
So this is all revolving around the Dobbs case, which was submitted to the court, was taken by the court to say, hey, no abortions over 15 weeks in the state of Mississippi, right?
Right.
And but they went further than that. 6 judges upheld the Dobbs, and then 5-4, they said we had to look at the foundations of Dobbs, Roe versus Wade, the Casey case, and Samuel Alito was the key writer of the opinion, and they said that there was no basis for Roe versus Wade. There is not a constitutional right to abortion. You can't pull it from the 14th Amendment, where it speaks about liberty, other important matters as well, but that's where Roe pulled from, liberty, that women should have the liberty to have abortion, and also from the privacy rights. And so there's some degree of privacy in the Constitution, but never related to abortion and the taking of innocent human life in this way. So they overturned 49 years of that abortion right. 63 approximately million babies have been aborted, killed since 1973, from conception through all 9 months. So now it's back to the states, and each state gets to decide, what they want to do regarding abortion. There were about 11 states immediately went into effect their laws, including the state of Alabama, banning, almost all abortions. Another 11 states look like they're going to be doing something very soon. And then you have states like New York and New Jersey and Vermont and New Mexico.
California.
Well, you can have an abortion through all 9 months.
Right.
So abortion's not over.
Right.
But there are states that are life states and are abortion free at this point.
And in Alabama, our Attorney General at 9 o'clock issued into effect that the abortion clinics, and we only had 3, that they had to cease and desist. They needed to stop doing what they were doing. And they claim that one center had over 100 clients waiting to get their abortion that day. Another one, she had some there and they had to turn them away. And with the great hope that they will come back to pregnancy resource centers and say, now I need to pivot, what can I do? And so, needless to say, we've been in this war, Jim and I, for 35 years. And it was glorious. The word picture that came to me was a tsunami. And I see this tsunami wave, but what's in the wave? The wave is mercy and grace and love and healing, because there are men and women out there who for 49 years made the poor life choice to have an abortion because the law was a teacher, and it taught them that abortion was okay. And so now we want to come in love and mercy and grace and healing and hope, and to restore and to renew and to pivot as a nation, and to say, let us build a new culture of life where babies are being born, we could do adoptions. It's just a beautiful day. And I loved waking up Saturday morning, and we laid in bed, and I said to Jim, this is what it's like to wake up in a state that is for life. And all I can tell you, it's a different kind of feeling. But we're moving and we're praying. We're praying for the other states as they defend. We want to catch also those that are hurting, and we want to heal and restore and renew a whole society who's been caught in the culture of death.
So we want you to be a part of the show. Please give us a phone call. Anything you want to state regarding Roe versus Wade being overturned. We'll be right back. There's plenty more to come. Give us a call, 1-800-221-9460. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Well, remember that today we're taking your questions and your comments on our show. If you're watching, it's Monday, and we are here and we are live. Please give us a jingle at 1-800-221-9460. If you are calling and you are outside North America, you can reach us at 205-271-2980. You can always send us an email with a question or a comment to jimandjoy@ewtn.com, and check us out on Facebook. Well, so the question out there for you is this: what are some of the next steps for the pro-life movement in promoting and defending life as we move forward, especially after the historical ruling on Monday that changes things? How does it change our hearts? How does it change our responses? How does it change the way that we love and the way that we listen? This is a really important time to listen to people and what they believe and what they value about life. And it really is a teachable moment. And so I just pray that your heart is in a good, holy, and pure place where you can listen and give great answers and truth.
Joe, we have on with us Professor Michael New, our good friend, Research Associate at the Catholic University of America, the Bush School of Business. Professor New, thank you for spending a few minutes with us. You're one of the foremost knowledgeable people about state by state, what's going on regarding laws per state, what was going on with Roe versus Wade, and incrementally chipping away at it. So here we are. And so we just wanted a reflection from you, where we stand right now post-Roe, and what you think some of the key steps are as the pro-life movement moves into the future.
Well, this is just a really exciting day. This is something we've been working for 49 years. Persistence pays off. Prayer pays off, and it's just a great, great day and a great victory for pro-lifers. But there's plenty of work ahead. This isn't the end. It's just the beginning. And, part of what we have to do is political. We have to pass laws protecting preborn children in the various states where we can. And we've been preparing for this. Right now, as we speak, about 11 states are protecting preborn children throughout pregnancy. In one state, Ohio, there's protections in place after a fetal heartbeat's been detected. In a few weeks, we expect to have 16 states protecting all preborn children, and another 3 states protecting children after a fetal heartbeat can be detected. So legislation and laws are important. They save lives, but there's more than that. We really have to offer something positive to pregnant women in need. I think it's really important now more than ever to really support our network of pregnancy help centers. There's 3,000 pregnancy help centers across the country offering a very impressive range of services to women in need, whether it's counseling, shelter, job placement, financial help. We always talk about how we care about both mother and child, which we do, but I really think we need to step up our efforts and really do more to make sure they have the resources they need. Unintended pregnancies are not going to stop happening. There will still be women in need, and we as pro-lifers have an important role to play in helping them.
Yes, well said. Professor, what do you think about the states? You know, we have these life states now, but we have states like New Jersey and New York and California, some of these other states which really have abortion through all 9 months. What could people be doing in those states to kind of build a new culture of life, to share about the humanity of the preborn? Where do they begin to try and influence their own legislatures? Your thoughts?
Well, one thing I will point out is that we've done well, even under Roe v. Wade, getting abortion numbers down. You know, the abortion rate fell by about 50% between 1980 and 2020, and even fell in places like New York and California, where they really didn't do much of anything to pass restrictive pro-life laws. So laws are important, but there's always ways you can build a culture of life. People can sidewalk counsel. They can give money to pregnancy help centers. They can pray. They can educate their friends and their peers. So I know that a lot of the excitement right now is in conservative states where we can finally pass some good laws that will protect preborn children. But I don't want people in blue states to be discouraged. You know, they have an important job to do too. Again, even if you can't pass laws, there's always ways to build a culture of life, whether it's volunteer efforts, whether it's sidewalk counseling, prayer. Again, this has to be an effort that really unites everybody.
Yes. And with the great goal of making abortion unthinkable. You know, and there is a prediction out there that by 2025, the whole abortion industry is not going to be surgical, but that it is all going to be medical. It will be the abortion pill. So how do we arm ourselves with information to let the public know about that?
Sure. The one challenge we're going to face is chemical abortions. And the recent data from Guttmacher indicates that as of 2020, over half of all abortions, 54%, were chemical abortions. And one thing we're concerned about is that even in those states that are passing good pro-life laws, some women may be able to obtain chemical abortion drugs through the mail. So we can try to pass legislation to stop that, but it has to be education as well. I mean, one thing that's important to note is that chemical abortion drugs are dangerous. They're obviously fatal to the unborn child, but dangerous to women as well. I mean, there's multiple studies showing they have a 4 times higher complication rate than surgical abortions. Also, taking these chemical abortion drugs unsupervised is dangerous. If a woman has an ectopic pregnancy and she takes a chemical abortion drug, she could die. If she's further along the gestation, she realizes and she takes a chemical abortion drug, that could pose some very serious negative health consequences. So both legislation and education are important when it comes to stopping these chemical abortion drugs from coming in.
Professor Michael New, thank you so much for spending time with us. Thank you for your decades of working to overturn Roe and for sharing with us so many aspects that we can be about in building a new culture of life throughout the United States. God bless you. Keep up your great work, sir.
Thanks, Jim. Joy, thanks for having me.
Thank you. Well, you know, and it is. Now, there is a great movement in post-Roe, what your pregnancy medical center looks like. And so, you know, you have clients that are still struggling with my options. What are my options? Well, you parent that child, you can have an abortion, or you place that baby up for adoption. Well, pregnancy medical centers are perfect for you to go so you can get, even if you're thinking, I'm going to have an abortion and I might go to a destination state to have that abortion. Well, before you leave your state, those pregnancy medical centers, even if you're in a life state, you need to have your pregnancy confirmed. You need to know, you need to have an ultrasound to determine the location of your pregnancy, to make sure that it's in your uterus, that it's not in the fallopian tubes, the gestational age of your pregnancy. Because the abortion pill doesn't work past 10 weeks. So what if you think, oh, I'm only 7 weeks, you didn't have an ultrasound, and then it gets more complicated. You can't take the medical abortion if you have the IUD in. And we've had clients who've had the IUD in and say, I want that pill. Well, you're not a candidate. If you have blood pressure issues, if you're obese, so there's a lot of terms and conditions for you, but the way that it's being marketed, it's like it's an aspirin. You just take this pill and you're going to be fine. Everything's going to be good and dandy. And let me tell you something. I have personally gone eyeball to eyeball with many a client who did that abortion pill, and there was great regret. And there was no reset button to hit. And they didn't get the results they thought they were going to get. They need to come to pregnancy resource centers to get the healing and the ministry and the love that they need from that. And if you're out there and you did take the abortion pill, there is a great way to know there's an abortion pill reversal. And we're hooked up with Heartbeat International. And you call 1-800-712-HELP. And you may have taken that abortion pill and you think, I don't want to do this. I don't want to take the next dosage of pills. You call them, they get you connected with a physician and also a pregnancy medical center, and there is an abortion pill reversal. And we have to arm ourselves as doing that. And many pregnancy medical centers throughout this country are there to help you. And so it is still a war. It's not over. It's changed. It's different. It's a pivot. It's like, and I remember this day, we've been the director there since 2009 when RU46 became law. And that was a crazy day when Bill Clinton signed that and it went into law. And all of a sudden there was an abortion pill. And it was like the phones were blowing up. It's like they thought we had it like on the shelves, just like to give it out as candy, you know? And so the law is a teacher. So we pray to dear God that the law says I can't and I shouldn't, because it's written no matter what. Whether the law is for it or against it, it's written on the law of your heart anyway. And many men and women suffer from the pain of abortion and making that poor life choice. And we're just here to help you and heal. And you know what? The church is a hospital. And we're all sick. And we're all hurting. And we all need Jesus. And the church of the doors, this is the church's finest hour. To say, the doors are wide open. Come in, get healed, get restored. And what a privilege to be born for a time such as this. I mean, did I really believe that I was going to live to see this day? You kind of hope. We were going down memory lane for many Saturday mornings. We were down at the abortion clinics here in Birmingham at 6 o'clock in the morning. Not just because you wanted to, for years, until Birmingham got down to one abortion mill. And even this March, that abortion clinic, Planned Parenthood, stopped doing abortions. So Birmingham has been abortion-free, and now the state is abortion-free. And let me tell you, I wasn't born in Alabama. I'm not a Southerner, but I got here as fast as I could. And I am so glad that the boundary lines have befallen me in a pleasant land, and I love Alabama.
And may it be true all over the United States of America that we're all life states, but altogether we got to build a new culture of life. So where is it for you? What are you thinking post-Roe? What are your thoughts? What does the church need to be doing? What does the pro-life movement need to be about and to be doing? What's the sense, for those who've had abortions, and now we're hearing, there wasn't a constitutional right for abortion, whether you're a man, whether you're a woman. Where is it for you? So let us know. Give us, send us an email, give us a phone call, tell us what you're thinking, what you're hearing, where it is for you, day by day now, with all of the rejoicing and all of the fallout. I know, I've done a number of interviews, about Roe versus Wade and where are things, for you. They asked me the question. I said, for me, it was bittersweet. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was bitter because we're talking. This lie led to 63 million from conception through all 9 months of abortions. We're aborting our own children. Right. And so, Roe was overturned, but it's like an atomic bomb went off throughout our country. So I'm glad the bomb isn't dropping again, but look at the fallout. Look at all the women who've been injured. Look at all the men who bought into it who were injured, or grandmas and grandpas who paid for abortions. And again, this battle still goes on with certain states that are going to be doing this so people can travel to the other states. But we're just talking about Roe, But it's sweet in that the lie has been exposed. Right. Satan is a liar. So many people got involved with abortion because they're saying, well, I guess if it's legal, it might be okay. And, just tricked by the enemy and by this false law. Mm-hmm. And so it's bitter, it's sweet, it's hand-to-hand combat regarding life and death, state by state. So again, where is it for you? What are you thinking about at this time? Or maybe you're post-abortive, or maybe you fought for years to end abortion. Maybe you're both. Mm-hmm. You're post-abortive and a fighter for the Lord. So here's an email here.
Our work is just beginning. The end of Roe is just step one. Once the issue goes back to the states, roughly half will become pro-abortion havens, and we're going to be fighting them. All I presume are blue states. We have to educate women in life states who are seeking abortions to let babies live. Educational programs must be ramped up. Education is the key, as well as many more money for crisis pregnancy centers and adoptions agencies. And adoptions must be promoted. And this is true. And this is from John on Facebook, because right now, to do a private adoption is very expensive, roughly $30,000 to $60,000. We need to work with legislators to change that, to say, we need to make this more affordable so that people can have the opportunity to adopt should women choose to place their babies up for adoption. And the law is a teacher, because there were many a client that I would say, if abortion wasn't legal, would you do this? And she'd say, no, I wouldn't. And so now we pray, now we listen, now we love, now we heal, and now we restore. God help us.
We're going to take a break at this point. There's plenty more to come. Thanks for your participation. We'll be right back. Please don't go away.
Welcome back. Well, you're at home with Jim and Joy, and I think we're going to go to Joan, who's in Rome, right? And so this is the time in our show when we go to beautiful Joan, who is in Rome, and she's going to tell us what's going on. Joan?
Greetings, Jim and Joy, from a very hot Rome. I think we're in the 3 digits, but I've got something very useful here. You can see the picture. And on the back it says, we're fans of Francis. This was made about a year ago in a seminary in America. In any event, it has been an incredible weekend, a memorable week here at the Vatican, of course, because the conclusion on Saturday and Sunday with the Papal Mass and Angelus of the 10th World Meeting of Families. And of course, Cardinal Kevin Farrell, who presides the dicastery that organizes this event, he presided at Mass, and the Pope, seated in an armchair, gave the homily. And he indicated very, very clearly that he was aware of all the stories that had been told during the week by participants. And it was a week of grand emotions, which was compounded on Friday, of course, with the announcement in the United States that the Supreme Court had, in a 6-3 decision, overturned Roe v. Wade. So what this did, they stated clearly there was no right to abortion in the Constitution, and what they were doing was giving back to the states the legislative power, not judicial power, because it really never belonged to the Supreme Court. Of course, we have a ways to go in converting minds and hearts. Now, speaking of life and love and children, marriage and family, if you saw any or just even part of EWTN's amazing coverage of this event, you're well aware of the gamut of emotions of all those who participated, especially the families, the couples, the grandparents that gave testimonials. We saw love and pain and betrayal, pardon and reconciliation. We heard about holiness. We heard about the happiness of a solid marriage. We learned of the joy of birth, maybe even adoption, and of families opening their hearts and their homes to the needy and underprivileged. And who is ever going to forget the Abdallahs, Daniel and Layla, 7 children, and they lost 3 of those 7 children to a drunken driver. But you know what they said? It was their faith that taught them forgiveness. I mean, you almost tear up telling that story. So the weekend ended, as I said, Papal Mass on Saturday and the Angelus on Sunday. But the Pope at the end of Mass gave families kind of a little surprise. He gave them a missionary mandate. And he said, I invite you to continue the journey, listening to the Father who calls you. Become missionaries on the highways and byways of the world. Joyfully announce the beauty of being a family. Proclaim the grace of Christian marriage to children and young people. Give hope to those who have none. Act as if it all depends on you, knowing everything must be entrusted to God. So with those beautiful words, I turn everything back to you. God bless.
Joan, thanks so much for another beautiful and informative report. Well, beloved family, let's take up the gospel of life. Let's share with our own loved ones, and let's call again, let's beckon those who are pro-choice to reconsider, and somehow, some way, the Lord will show them the beauty of every human life from the moment of conception through natural death. Keep it on EWTN. Bye now.